Welcome into Sports Tonight. Emily Gagnon here on Monday, August 12th. I like to talk about this, less than 3 weeks away from college football season kicking off, even though I know Georgia Tech is going to kick off a week early in Ireland. But let's see. Yeah, for UGA Clemson from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, we are like 2.5 weeks away from game one in the regular season. I know everyone's looking forward to that. I certainly am. Before we start talking about college ball a little too much, let's start talking about the Falcons. So they had their first preseason game against the Dolphins down in Miami. They had joint practices down there. The big story coming out of game one in the preseason, injuries, okay? I said it on the news earlier. It's like the Braves and the Falcons right now are in the same place. Helms and Trice, two players on defense, are out. Helms will be out for a significant amount of time. Trice is going to be out all season. So it was a season-ending injury for him. We did hear from head coach Raheem Morris earlier today from training camp, which they're still in. They have another preseason game coming up on the 17th. That's this Saturday against the Ravens. It is in Baltimore, and then they will wrap up the preseason against the Jaguars. It's no secret that Raheem does not like the preseason. A lot of coaches don't because of injuries. And, of course, you've got to go out there and you got to get these players some playing time, and you have to see how some of them who are on the bubble might look. But for him, he does not want to play his starters, and that's quite simply because of injuries. He does not want to get anyone injured. But I think it's important that we hear from him and hear what he has to say about the preseason, about the injuries, and just kind of get his thoughts on what's going on so far throughout training camp.
Obviously, Trice, you guys saw yesterday, we moved to IR. Also, Hand moved to IR. And also, we have some limited players from the game, some couple dings and bruises. You'll see Jace's limit today. So we got a chance to sign Spencer Brown. Come on in. I understand you got traffic today. We're good. We got a chance to sign Spencer Brown. We got a chance to sign a wideout and some of those things moving forward. So we feel good about that. With that, I open up questions.
DeMarco, any update on him?
So DeMarco got the injury. Obviously, he's going to miss some significant time, but it's an ankle. So we'll see when he comes. We'll see what that means, but he'll be out for a little bit.
Coach, thoughts on Penix in the game versus the Dolphins?
Really the same idea for the game. It was pretty clean-cut evaluation on what he can do, the plays that he made the mistakes on, him coming back self-admitting. He looked the wrong way on one play and got right to his check down, which is really good for a rookie to do that stuff and be able to tell us that really clean and that kind of flow. The one protection he could have changed, he didn't flip or still got the ball off with good tempo to Carlos, but if he changes it, he may have a little more time to get that on spot. But I was really fired up about his overall operation, his demeanor, his ability to see what he saw in the grass when he comes off the grass and able to talk to you about what happened, exactly what happened, how it went down. The game was a little bit slower for him, which you like. And that stuff is always good when you have those type of things. Really, operationally, he was even better than he had been in practice in the huddle. Which is really good because he had gotten so much better from even the spring to now. So to see that improvement that fast, that quickly, I was really fired up about what he was able to do. And not just throwing the football around. He threw it nice, but just all the overall playing the position, the quarterback, going through the stuff and being able to get his stuff on the right, go about it. And that was really good day for him. Really pleased.
Back and watched, sorry I cut you off.
Tori, you did not.
When you went back and you watched the game this past week, what were kind of your key evaluation points going back and having that second look?
Yeah, you really want to just go big picture with things. And when you talk about the procedural penalties, like we talked about at the game, like it really didn't change from what I talked about the night of the game, right? You don't want to have the false starts to take you off track because you want to be able to maintain being on track so you can get off a couple more runs. We were able to get off 30 runs and 40 passes. You'd like to flip that to have like a big picture view of how you want to play a football game. But some of those things, you'd like to be able to get some of those runs off better. But you did pick it up in the second half. I think it ended up with like 80 yards, something like that, after having 10 in the first half, which would be a good click of runs if you were able to do that and maintain that throughout the whole process of the game. But I was really excited with most of this stuff and how we got off. Third downs always a big stack, but you got a bunch of different quarterbacks and you're judging on third downs and things of that nature, protections, all those type of things. You're not really worried about that as much. The turnovers were 2-2. You like that to be 2-0 us in favor of us, and that would be a lot better because that would eliminate the bad snap or the false start and all those type of things and just all those little things that you can get rid of and kind of knock out the way. So, but you're fired up about the game, the overall perspective of it all with the team and how you want to go, what you need to get better this week as far as penalties. That's just a lack of concentration. Got to get our concentration better when it comes to those things. Probably a little bit of nerves being new guys and young guys going out there jumping off sides. And really, that was about it.
You guys made some moves over the weekend. Do you foresee any more of those coming with the loss of Trice and DeMarco for a while?
Our guys upstairs better than anybody. These guys are continuously just pounding and grinding on the roster. Kyle Smith, Ryan Pace, and Terry, they do a nice job of that and continue to improve. So I definitely could see some things happening over the next couple of weeks and how we go about our business. But I'm excited with all the opportunities and things that they always bring up and present.
After the game, you were saying that it's hard sometimes to weigh the pros and the cons of playing starters or whoever it is in the preseason. Now that you guys had this kind of week where you lost so many guys,
Sure.
Does that change anything, how you look at the preseason these next 2 weeks?
I don't know if it changes anything. It would be unfair for me to say that. I don't want to play in the games. I really don't. And you got to play some of the guys. You play your first year outside backer to give them just a little bit of game repetition, right? And all the guys with some real playing experience, you don't really want to play. And, you had DeMarco out there, was played a half a season of what it was last year. So you just want to get him a little bit of rep, kind of like you got with Richie. And, you always look back, and anytime a guy gets hurt, you want to blame yourself. So I definitely take full responsibility for that when our guys get hurt in preseason games. And I definitely doesn't change anything. It just kind of further tells how I feel about the preseason when it comes to those type of things when you can't mitigate injury.
What does losing Braylon mean for the defense?
It's always tough when you use a rook. You use a guy that you're about to count on the edge to be able to have a role and be able to find his roles and all those type of things. But, it's got to be I'll give you the cliche, it's got to be the next man up mentality, which always happens, and that's always going to be the case. But he was defining a real role for us where he was a guy that can play on first and second down. He brought some pass rush and some of those things. So now you got to find it elsewhere, right? You got this JSW who goes out there and gives us a nice first down reps. You got AK that goes out there and gives you nice third down reps. And now you got to get it from somewhere else where you're expecting this guy to really ascend and do some really good things for you. But, I don't like losing people at all, particularly when there's a guy, a rookie that really was a nice pick and was doing a great job and doing some really good things for us out there on the football field.
Just use Helms as an example. When he goes down, obviously that kind of throws Richie into what is, he's kind of the guy right there necessarily at the top of the roster. Do you talk to him or other players about the opportunities that they're then going to get, by this unfortunate circumstance of this happening, or how do you kind of message that to them?
Kind of talk about it well beforehand. We got some real significant battle positions for starting roles, whether it be Mike Hughes and Clark, whether it be DeMarco and when it was Richie and all those kind of guys. So they kind of go into it knowing what the fight is and what the competition level is here, and that's really a good thing. You always want to have guys on the competitive level to think that way, but now you got to go out there and compete against the next person. Somebody's going to step up, whether it's Shank, whether it's whoever else on our roster that has the ability to go out there and step up, and we'll get a chance to go see that within the next couple of weeks. And like I said, I really get fired up about these practices. I really get fired up about seeing these guys go play against ones versus twos, twos versus ones, have Mamba periods, and that's what we'll get a chance to get this week up until we get to the game. So that'd be fun to watch out people compete again and kind of reset the roster.
Was there anything about the field that you noticed? It looked immaculate when the game started, but at the end of the game, there were holes all over. And they mentioned that it was slippery. Would you have changed cleats were it possible to do that?
It's hard for me to say that it was slippery. I mean, I think the guys just kind of played. I didn't really see anybody falling for no reason. I've seen people getting cut and those things of that nature. I think the field looks pretty good. The field down I thought was in really good condition. I thought it was a really good field. I don't think we had any issues with slip injuries. I think Trice stepped the wrong way and hurt his ACL, and we got rolled them onto DeMarco, so it'd be hard for me to complain about the field. I don't want to use that as an excuse.
Your cross process and what you want to see? Like coaches up in the booth versus down on the field. Are there any adjustments that you think might be coming, or is everybody kind of, I'm really good right here?
No, that was what we talked about well before the game. You know, Zach wants to go down the first game. He went up the first game. He may go down the second. That's those things you want to just fill out the process as you go. So there may be small minimum changes, but like I talked about after the game, the overall operation of the daily, what we do, how we do it, challenges, not the challenge, talking to the officials, booth reviews, all those type of things. Like, I was really pleased with how it went. But we're always going to explore. We're always going to try different things. You never know what you may see this week. That's really dependent on the play callers. That's really dependent on what we want to do this week moving forward.
You don't have the flag. You gotta reach around and get the.
Yeah, I got Scar has the flag. That's pretty easy. He's locked and loaded. He's ready to go at all times. He's well a part of those conversations, so I don't have to Sean McVay that thing this week and not have the flag on me when I'm talking to you guys. That was funny.
Can you talk a little bit about the chemistry you saw between Michael and Casey Washington, that they were kind of connecting on some passes in the game?
I mean, it's been fun for us watching it. All the guys that have been here, watching it out here already. You know, he had it with Rondell. They were really starting to develop something on that second unit with Rondell being out there X, and then Casey would come in and be able to play a little bit of X for him. And it started really in rookie minicamp with those two guys really having a connection. But, you know, I don't know who Michael in that second group doesn't have a little bit of rapport with. You know, Red has been practicing a little bit more with the ones when it comes to the substitution packages. But when you talk about Casey and Blair, those guys have been with Michael probably right from the beginning, along with Rondell, and they've been moving around, do a bunch of different things. So that's been a lot of fun. Watching those guys throw routes on there, they all get a chance to throw to different people, so you see some of that time in there, some of the things there, which is always fun. But I don't think it was any particular special chemistry between those two, just two guys working together, executing what we had to go out there and what we gave them for plays, and it looked pretty good.
I don't know that you need to have anything confirmed for you, but the way Cruikshank played, the way King played, the way Hamilton played, your scouting on veteran players to add to this roster came to life on Friday night. Is there any satisfaction in that?
I forget who just asked the question, but those guys turning over the bottom of that roster and continue to find good players and people that can come in and contribute. You know, again, Ryan Pace, Kyle Smith, Terry Fontenot, the job they've done to bring people in here to compete definitely was something that we got a chance to see out there in Miami.
How rewarding is it for you to see someone like Kevin King, who did take 2 years off, have a game like he did last week?
It wasn't just Kevin. It was Eddie Goldman. It was Kevin King. It was all those guys stepping up there, getting out there from a long time ago, right? 2 years off almost. And, you know, he really came in, and you got to give our strength staff and our performance team a lot of credit, having the patience with him. We had to get him through, train him the right way, acclimate to our system from the offseason. Then you get him through here and get him into training camp. You watch him go out and participate. I was excited for him and what the possibilities he has and being able to contribute for us this year.
Curious, last year with Los Angeles, you kind of gained some renown, I guess you'd say. You made a lot with a lot of kind of different pieces, you know, low draft picks, rookies, that sort of thing. Is that something maybe you take some pride in, of you being able to cobble together, you know?
I've always kind of been like that anyway. You know, like I think it was Mike Tomlin said to me a long time ago, "Hey, dude, I don't care what you're doing with that other safety, but what you're doing with that rookie, that's pretty good." And so we've always kind of taken a certain pride into really developing rookies, really developing guys that you don't know about, and getting those guys to be contributors. So in LA, it was really no different. You know, we went out last year. We went young. It was no secret around Aaron Donald. And I never forget Aaron Donald said something really profound to us all. He said, "Yeah, that's great. Just make sure they care." Right? And so when we brought people in, wow, that's impressive. You turned that off like that? Anyway.
Talk about Aaron Donald, I think.
Yeah. Goes dark. But you know, he talked about like bringing in people that care. And these guys care. And when you get a chance to get them into the meeting rooms, you get them into the practice settings, particularly last week in those joint practice settings, you really feel the people that care about football and love the game. So that was always fun. So like kind of quietly, I've always taken a real pride at getting people and finding people that care about football, even if it's not the household name that you may necessarily know about.
Did you guys don't have any video boards down in Miami?
We missed them, you know. I like looking at you. I looked over to the right a couple of times and all I saw was you, so without having them. But it's definitely appreciated. You know, our owner's coming today, and that stuff is all, you know, Arthur Blank and him allowing us to go out and spend his money. And let's be frank. And he allowed us to do that. And I know you guys are going on a media tour this week and get a chance to see the building. I don't know why David Bassett let you do that. I would have kept you out. But get a chance to walk around the locker room and see the new weight room and some of this new stuff that they've done and the cafeteria. And then now video board. I come in, you got this new pain in the neck head coach. He wants video boards, and he's able to get us two. It's been awesome.
Sean McVay told our friend Sarah Barshop that you have no original life.
Exactly.
Stole it.
Trust me, he called me and told me. He called me and told me. I definitely, as a coach, you're a great thief, and Sean's a thief as well. He told me who he stole it from. I forgot we were talking on the phone the other day, but he stole it from a college idea. It was thoughts that came from college. It was great. So I'm gonna continue to steal anything I thought was really good in LA, because I got a nice shiny piece of jewelry at my house because of it.
What can you tell us about Jakeem Grant?
Jakeem Grant, quick, fast. You guys know a little bit about him being a returner in this league. He almost threw me off because I almost called him his nickname. But, we're looking forward to seeing him get out there today. He'll be full-going individual. We'll kind of give him baby steps when it comes to team rep to get him ready for the game to see what we can do. But really fired about adding people. And like I said, these guys are continuing to turn over the bottom of the roster at all times. And they do a great job of doing it.
It's not full prep yet, but how do you get ready for Baltimore? A little bit different that you're going to
No.
some film on it?
No. We want to go out and execute. It's more about us right now. I know everybody has a different style on how they want to go about the preseason, how they want to look at it. It's just not ours. We'll give our young guys a chance to look at what they're doing just so they're not caught off guard completely. But realistically, we don't want the games to get in the way of us getting better.
Anything else?
With the third week of training camp now, what do you look for in the progression of the team and do you do anything to break up, I guess, the monotony or just how it goes physically, mentally?
A long time ago, man, I can keep talking about coaching examples that I get, right? But when Rod Marinelli, I just happened to see him in Miami, his son-in-law, Joe Barry, obviously coaches at Miami, but I got a chance to see Rod, and Rod said, don't get bored with the monotony of the game, right? You got to embrace that, right? So, that is the truth. That is at the truest element, the highest element when you're talking about training camp, right? It's like we're going out here to get better, and what is the things we're going to get better at? You get a chance this week to see 2-minute to 4-minute. You get a chance to get back on track downs to a third down, and it is a continuing, growing process for those guys, and the really great ones, what Kirk Cousins has been able to do to maintain that mental stamina, I think is the important part of also getting better and getting guys in the right mode to get ready to play. Because ultimately, man, the most important thing for us is getting ready for September 8th. And I hope I said the date right. If I don't, just correct that. But that's the Pittsburgh game. That's the most important part for us, guys. That date.
Week 1.
Week 1.
Do you prefer those joint practices over preseason if you had a choice?
I love the joint practices, man. It is highly competitive. It gives you all the stuff that you want, the juices. It gives you the different people, the different looks. It gives you the physical violence, but you're also able to mitigate injury as much as possible. And I know we had the Rondell injury, but that was an untouched injury that you can't control. And I got a chance to see really good work out of my O-line and Chris Lindstrom coming off the ball versus Jalen Ramsey and versus all the guys they have on that side of the ball and do some of the good things. And I got a chance to watch young corners go against Tyreek Hill as he snuck into the second group. And those things are that when the next time will Jaden Price get a chance to go cover Tyreek Hill? Hopefully he starts in this league, but that was impressive to go out there and watch those guys do that, and hopefully stop you guys from asking me about who's going to play opposite of AJ every day.
Anything else?
So who's it gonna be?
You, Taryn.
All right, so despite those injuries, Raheem Morris walks away from his press conference with a smile, which is always nice to see. The Falcons, as I mentioned earlier, if you missed it, their next preseason game, the second of the season, is going to be against the Ravens, and that's going to happen on the 17th, which is Saturday. And then they will play their only preseason game that they have from home. The following week against the Jags, they will host the Jags. So a big-time commit decided to choose his school today, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. Josh Petty, an offensive lineman, decided to, 5-star by the way, guys, 5-star offensive lineman, decided to commit to Georgia Tech. This shows how much Brent Key is working to get these big-time stars to come to Georgia Tech. It's going to take a lot of them, for them to be able to compete and catch up to the schools that they're competing with, especially a school like Georgia. But this is just the start, and it shows that he's getting the job done, right? But we heard from Petty today. We were at his signing. Listen to him. It's pretty interesting. He says that it's because of Brent Key that he decided to go to Georgia Tech, to commit to Georgia Tech for 2025. He likes his relationship with Key, and he thinks it's authentic, and he just really, really enjoys being around him.
Give your thank yous.
Yes, sir. I want to start off with my elementary head coach, Coach Counts. Then we're going to go to Coach JC. He was there with me throughout my whole feeder program. I want to thank the guys that are on the team, the guys that have been with me since day one, Jonathan Granby, CJ Givers, Evan Haynes, really been making the splash. I want to thank Coach Thompson, my family over at Velocity, my dad for raising me and doing so much. My mom, they've sacrificed so much to get me here and done so much for me. I want to thank y'all so much.
Well, congrats. If you guys didn't know, it's also his birthday today.
Finally 17.
Just turned 17. 17 years old, 5-star. I remember meeting you the first time in your cul-de-sac about 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday. You got up to meet me. I was in the area covering a camp 18 months ago. Here you are now. Had a few offers in. National recruit now. Just committed to Georgia Tech. Let's start with the juice. Obviously you had Florida State. You had Ohio State. You had Stanford. You had Tennessee. Why Georgia Tech?
The first piece I want to talk about is the education. It's unmatched there. That degree will take me years. It's a 40-year decision for me, 100% there. And the O-line development is another thing that's special. The amount of O-line guys they have on that staff, the amount they're pouring into making it the old GT and building with Georgia guys, it's been genuine with Coach Key throughout our whole relationship. And it's been great to see, a genuine program. And, I'm at home.
Yeah, I was blessed to get to know you, your family, follow that journey from the beginning to here we are now on your birthday making this decision. How tough was this journey? You went into it probably having fun, enjoying the love, the visits. Did it become stressful? What was these last couple of months, last few weeks, last few days like for you?
Recruiting is a blessing, and this journey has been amazing. It's brought me some opportunities that, I couldn't have gotten without this. But, recruiting did get very stressful in the beginning. It was fun. It was all games, talking to coaches every now and again. But once you start to get down into it and the commitment day shows up, coaches know it's game time. They start calling you. It gets very difficult to manage that. But, I'm glad to get this off my shoulders and, be done with this whole journey.
You said to me, I'm home. That was your quote about Georgia Tech. What's that mean to you? You get to stay home. You're from Georgia, the Peach State. Brent Key's making that a big emphasis, since he's been the head coach at Georgia Tech on the flats. You're staying home, repping the 404, Georgia Tech. What does that mean to you?
It's great. I'm a hometown hero, so I'm going to say it's been a blessing for me to be able to go to this school, stay in Atlanta, the place I've been around, graduate early, but still be around my friends. It's amazing, getting to stay in the 404 Atlanta and represent where I grew up and where I was born.
Brent Key, big part of your decision. We've talked about him multiple times. The head coach there, played at Georgia Tech. Coach as alma mater. How big of an impact did he have, the head coach, Brent Key, on your decision?
Coach Key was a huge influence on my decision. He's done it before. He's developed guys into the league, and, he has a vision at Georgia Tech, and he's bought into it. His actions have spoke louder than his words, and it's been great to see how he's buying in on guys like the commit out of Duluth. I can't pronounce his name yet. Yes, sir, Demola, and getting guys there and working on future targets.
What is he building? What is Key building at Georgia Tech? I was with you last year or early this year in January out at Cali Power in Los Angeles right around that time. Georgia Tech went into bowl season, beat UCF, a program he used to coach at. What is Key building at that program?
Coach Key's building something special, that's for sure. Not a lot of people know about the old Georgia Tech, and I think he's kind of bringing back that style. He's going to get the good commits out of Georgia, and he's going to get guys from his hometown and who have played in Georgia and are passionate about the sport and the state to go and win him a championship.
You came in today mentioning Cali Power. I was around you a lot, 5 versus 5. You trained with those guys and were part of that program. What did California Power and that program mean to you? How have they helped you get to the finish line?
Cali Power has been a tremendous help in my entire process. Guys like Bo Calver, Brian Davis, they've been helping me step by step with, not just the agent side of it, the family side of it, the relationship side of it. You build these relationships with these coaches and, they're bought in on you, spending resources, spending time, always, taking care of you, and having to tell them that no conversation is very difficult. Those guys were step by step with me along that process and getting through those difficult conversations that you don't want to have and they don't want to hear.
We'll finish with this, Josh. Obviously a big day for you, your family. Obviously Georgia Tech, Brent Key, a lot of celebrations there going on the flats. But look, man, you're here at a great program. You've handled this like a mature, not so much just now 17-year-old today. A lot of admiration for you out there. A lot of kids look up to you. What kind of advice would you give even the younger guys here at this high school about if they're starting this journey, even just guys at other programs, guys in Little League that want to be in your shoes one day? What kind of advice do you have for them?
First of all, I got to say, keep God first. If you follow in his vision and you trust in him, he'll do great things for you, and he's guided me along every step of this journey. Another thing, I want to talk about a misconception where people think you need to transfer just to get offers and stuff like that. You can do it from anywhere, Fellowship Christian, Milton, anywhere. If you have the talent, the coaches will find you.
What's it like to share your birthday for your community?
It was hard getting some sleep last night, to be honest. I was kept up thinking about this. I'm glad I finally got it off my chest, and being able to share this special commitment and my 17th birthday, this will be a moment I'll never forget for sure.
What moment did it hit you that Georgia Tech was the right place for you?
It kind of came along throughout the official visit season. They kind of went about things different, and I really appreciated that. It was very intentional, detail-oriented. They made sure I was a priority, got us in and out, made sure we were taken care of, looked after the family. It was really unreal, the hospitality they were showing us. And, Coach Key and his vision have been authentic, and he's followed through with action on his words. So, it's been great to see that and, just bought into being a Yellow Jacket.
You mentioned Brent Key multiple times up there in the relationship. What is it about your relationship with him that is able to make it feel so more genuine than maybe some of the other visits you went on?
Brent Key has been real, and he's gone through and followed through on his word. A lot of programs, you don't get that. A lot of coaches make a lot of promises, make a lot of things happen in this recruitment. But the way Coach Key has visualized his dream to me and bought me into it, as well as action-oriented that and made plans towards that, making it, a great program again and building up what he's done so far and building up it to what it used to be. It's special, and it's authentic there for sure. And, I'm glad to see that the action has kind of already started in the plan, and we've got this plan rolling down, and, a big piece just moved towards it.
How much did Jeep Wade and Tim McFarland weigh in this decision?
Coach Wade and Coach McFarland are great pieces of this recruitment. Coach Wade, he's the O-line coach over there, kind of the genius behind the inside zone and, everything going on over there. It's been great to have him and great to work with him through my recruitment, telling me pointers about my stances, working on my game, doing the little things. And Coach Mack as well, having a friendly face up there that I've known for a while, a guy I bought into, trust, took me over to this school and, kind of made big things happen for me. It's huge having him there. Seeing that friendly face, like I said, and having a guy like that I can trust and be around 24/7 with me up there and kind of helping me feel at home.
We're in the age of NIL. How much was that a factor?
NIL was a factor for sure. I feel like around this time, if you're an athlete, you should be entitled to your money and you should get that and get what you can out of it. I've worked with my agency, Cali Power and Power Athletics. They've done a huge part in that. They've been fighting for me and making sure I do right and they do right by me. But Tech's been very easy. Tech's been very cooperative and efficient with working on that. So, it's been very easy and, it played a factor for it. And I needed that number to be fair. But, Tech would beyond and above and really have taken care of me.
All right, guys, that was Josh Petty committed to Georgia Tech, a big, big commit for them. But, guys, the time has gone by that fast. It's time for me to get out of here. You guys have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. I can flip the switch.